New player reviews first 6 months playing WoW.
6 months ago.
Okay. New player reviews first 6 months playing WoW. Alright. I always like I've been playing WoW my whole life. And it's always fun to see what people think coming into the game as with completely fresh eyes. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, what? It's just a great fresh perspective. So new player reviews first 6 months of WoW. Sure, let's see it.
I started playing World of Warcraft, and in the short time I've been in Azeroth, I've learned to kill things, loot things, buy things, and die.
Okay.
A lot. But through all this, I think I finally gained an at least elementary knowledge of this almost 20-year-old game. So here is my review of my experience so far in World of Warcraft.
It's almost more interesting that it's retail because there's a lot to catch up on.
Things like turning into a Beyblade, riding dragons, fighting your way through hordes of enemies in dungeons, and playing Pokemon. As someone who hasn't really played any MMOs, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I did not expect this.
Hell yeah. Did you roll on an RP realm or something?
You have a lot of options for what race and class you want to be, and I had chosen this Underbite Warrior to be my vessel for eventual mass rad destruction. My first step was learning the controls, which involved me pressing almost every button on my keyboard to find something like my inventory.
Wait a minute. Walk around WASD? I am 99% certain the default keybinds. Oh, you know what? WASD, A and D to turn. Q and E is to strafe. I wish I could go back in time and tell you strafe with Q and E. Okay, A and D is for turning. Do not turn with A and D. Use strafe instead. Okay.
Was learning the controls, which involved me pressing almost every button on my keyboard to find something like my inventory. After that was the combat system. My combat style was pretty straightforward. If the button glowed, I pressed button. Just button mashing my way through any form of combat. And over time, I eventually learned what order to press the buttons. And eventually you gain access to a skill tree where you can choose skills and abilities that fit in with your playstyle. But despite my keyboard fearing for its life whenever I saw my foe, I found the combat actually quite enjoyable. Maybe it was because of the class I chose, but there was just something satisfying about becoming a Beyblade and swinging around this big ass sword and demolishing dinosaurs. And now, you might think that after a while this could get repetitive, but the game manages to offset this by increasing the difficulty of the monsters as you progress. Eventually, bosses and monsters have specific mechanics that you have to learn, but fighting monsters and leveling isn't the only thing to do. There are different mini games like this one where you have to collect resources to upgrade a fort and invade the opposing fort, or PvP, which I did try but would pretty much die instantly. Or if you want to do something a bit more chill, there are skills to learn like mining, smithing, collecting herbs, cooking, or fishing. Or sometimes you might stumble across a group of people.
It's really interesting to hear the PvP side of things because so for me, I haven't played that much Counter-Strike in my life, right? Counter-Strike's been out, what, 20, 30 years now? Or something. And for me, playing Counter-Strike is a bit intimidating because I know I'm just going to get owned. So much so, I don't even play or try Counter-Strike. I'm like, I know I'm just going to get owned. It's not going to be fun. I'm going to get headshot every time because I haven't played in the last 30 years. Everyone else has. It's ridiculous. It's kind of the same with WoW now, right? It's been out 20 years. A lot of players have been playing a lot of that time. If you come in as a new player, it's just yeah, you're probably going to get owned. There's going to be a steep ass learning curve because the players are so embedded in the game. It's been out for so long.
Fighting a huge world boss.
Not
and in WoW, everything scales to your level, and you can always progress with your friends even if they are 20 levels ahead of you. The loot also scales to your level, and you are almost always throwing out your new sword or armor within a few hours. But personally, the most fun I've had in this game so far is when I moved on to an expansion called Spyro Dragonflight. And this is where it gets fun. You get your own dragon. And honestly, this was super cool. It actually feels like a completely different game. My favorite part though is the flying. It's super satisfying, and you can even do these missions where you fly through these rings and you can customize your dragon. But this is only the tip of the iceberg of all the content that has been released over the past 2 decades. Now here comes the story of the game. Well, the one I did anyway. While a lot of quests are copy and paste, collect 10 swamp hippo toenails, which after a while does start to feel tedious and repetitive, and while in the beginning I was reading every single quest, after a while I did start to skip over reading them. But when it comes to the main storyline of the expansions, or this quest about some giant sword that apparently nobody can see, this is where it redeems itself. My only problem is that I hadn't played the older expansions, and the game forced me into one of the more recent ones called Battle of Azeroth, which means that I didn't know anything about the story.
Is that true? Does the game force you into BFA or Dragonflight? Can you not, like, I thought you could choose. I haven't leveled a character in a long time, so I'm actually ignorant here. I thought you could choose which one you wanted to level through. You can change, it defaults you there, but you can kind of change, right? I thought you could change. It did for a while, it goes automatically, but you can then choose it. Okay. It doesn't force, okay, so it sets you in one spot, but you could then change if you wanted. But as a new player, that's probably really confusing because you don't really know how to change or do anything. You're kind of just like following the game. So if it sets you somewhere, you're probably just gonna play as a new player. Yeah, because you wouldn't know how to do that if you're a new player. As an experienced player, you might know, okay, I can then play through Wrath if I wanted to. Okay.
Story that had happened beforehand, and the game never really catches you up on the details either. I mean, like, I arrived in my tutorial gear, and I was already being called the hero of Azeroth and being thanked for saving some princess, which for me never happened. But even just a quick overview of the events beforehand probably would have saved me a lot of confusion about what was happening. I carried on and actually found myself getting interested in the story. And this is where the game introduces more unique mechanics, a more cohesive story, and interesting characters. I really liked this character, who was the Lower of Death, Bwom Samdi, even though he would always talk shit to me after I died.
Well, look at you, the mighty hero.
But probably the most important part about quests in WoW is that it gives you some incentive to actually explore the worlds, and it is huge. Like, there's so much to explore. I mean, I did this one quest for this dwarf dude, and it took me all over the map to some of the coolest looking places I had seen so far. It is so easy to get lost exploring for hours in this game. Sometimes I would take a break from leveling and questing just to go and explore new places all over the map. I don't know why, but my personal favorites were the swamp looking place with this big toad and the home of the cow people. I'm yet to play the older expansions to find out why exactly I am the hero of Azeroth, but after playing and enjoying this expansion, which some people seem to rate quite low in comparison to some others, I'm excited to see what more the story of this game has to offer. So after playing for these few months, I got thinking, what's the goal in this game? There doesn't seem to be any specific ending because they just keep releasing new expansions to continue the story. So how are people...
What was that?
Specific ending because they just...
Corgis Unleashed. Wait, is this a leak of the new expansion? Wow. Yeah, corgis, guys. All right, so we saw pandas, we saw a bunch of furries and dragons and stuff. Next up, we have World of Warcraft corgis.
Keep releasing new expansions to continue the story. So how are people playing this for almost 2 decades and still finding enjoyment? I know that some people try to get rare mounts.
It's a good feeling.
Some people just farm raids and dungeons. Some play solely for nostalgia.
Hey guys,
Let's do this. Leroy
Some do this.
You got a tight little man pussy on you, don't you? Oh, it stinks. Nice and good.
But I think what makes the game fun is the people you play with. The game basically forces you to find people to help you progress through the game, and in doing so, you meet some people who you end up playing with almost all of the time. While obviously there are some grumpy spoons out there who get angry at you for being new to the game, the majority of people are actually super cool, and they seem really happy that people are just now starting to play the game. People are always wanting to teach me new things, help me through dungeons, and show me around to some of their favorite places. One time, I came across these 2 players, and we just started dancing for some reason. They then invited me to their group and asked if I wanted to join them on a quest they were about to do. They also helped me out with some questions I had, like where to find rocks for this mining skill I had just unlocked. And as I progressed further into the game, I eventually created my own guild and found my own small community of cool people. Some of the stories I've heard from people are how they've met their wife or made life friends from WoW. But even though I'm really enjoying the game, sometimes it does feel like I'm watching a movie after missing the first and most important half. And after hearing these stories, it feels like maybe I missed out on the reason why so many people love the game in the first place. But hey, you never know what the golden days are until you're in them, right? And maybe I'm in mine right now. So should you
Well, it's interesting, right? Because, like, objectively, there are things about retail or current WoW that are objectively better than they were in the days of Classic. For me, and we've talked about this in depth, we don't have to go there. I don't want a debate started of, like, retail versus Classic. That's not my intention. But for me, it's something about more modern versions of the game have less soul, right? They have less soul in them. In the old versions of the game, it really feels like you're playing an MMO. It feels like you're playing an RPG. You can get really engulfed in that. Now, in the more modern versions of the game, it's almost like there's so much quality of life that it's no longer an MMO. It's not really as much of an RPG. I guess in the traditional sense, it is an RPG, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels more like you're queuing a game, like a League of Legends lobby game, and there's like less soul in it. But the quality of life upgrades are objectively like better, right? But that the quality of life being added took away from the MMO feel of the game. So I feel like that's kind of the nuance here when people are like, oh, the game used to be so much better. It's like what they really mean is it was less quality of life and had more soul and felt more like an MMO. It's like kind of interesting to consider.
Try WoW? Absolutely. Especially if you can get friends to join you. And if not, no stress. I'm sure you'll find some along the way. So, my final rating. I'm going to give World of Warcraft a...
Hello? My
Also,
internet? Okay.
should I play WoW Classic?
Just made an album 7 days, that's quick. Who's going up and down?
Okay, yeah, WoW Classic. So the difference, what we were just talking about with WoW Classic is it's going to feel completely different. It's going to be slower pace, way less quality of life. It might be kind of confusing or annoying at some points, but like there's going to be a lot of like more soul role playing, a true MMO experience. So those are the differences, right? And yeah, maybe there'll be a new player reviews WoW Classic for the first time in a bit. Yo, thanks for linking that one, Taylor.
What are you looking for? Gold.
I think I'm the last guy in the raid. Yep, sorry guys, that was a bit of PvP outside and I don't have that much water. I'm really not prepared for this raid. There's another mage so he can give the water, right? Do you think there will be dual spec anytime soon? I don't think so. If there was gonna be dual spec in this next phase, they probably would have mentioned it in that giant like PowerPoint and you know like thingy they did. That would have been like the first thing they probably talked about, like, hey, we're giving you dual spec, yay, you know. They didn't say anything, so it's just probably not happening. Maybe later, maybe at level 50, 60, who knows. Maybe they're saving it, maybe they want to keep it as like a, if players are mad, then break glass, you know, you get me. Like, they gave us the GDKP ban. The GDKP ban is a W. If you ask 100 people what they think about the GDKP ban, probably over 80 will be happy, right? So that's a W. That's all there is. It's the public opinion is positive, the majority. So that was their W. Now they're probably gonna save dual spec for later to be like, yo, here's this, get happy. That's one way of looking at it. Again, they might just never do it. So I feel like they would do it though. Put a cool question around it, you know. But yeah, it's probably not happening next phase unless they just, it's a surprise and people find out. What if we discover dual spec at some point in STV? Could be just a pleasant surprise and they're like, hey, if you do this, this and that, you will get dual spec. You guys are gonna watch some mage healer gameplay. Am I really in the Wind Fury group as a healer, bro? I got wild strikes, boys. Actually, I don't, because I hold my weapon. Any reason you run regen when you already run must regen? It's just nice to give it to one player. Like, sometimes you have that one guy that's really far away. He won't chain the whole thing. You might as well just give him regen. I don't feel like the 15% spell crit is important, especially when it drains your mana more. Same with Enlightenment. I just don't really see those as, like, crucial parts of healing. I normally go Living Flame regen, but because it's another mage, then I'm not going... You know, so when it's one player like this, you might as well just regen them. On a pad a bit, stand in the fire, and then heal myself more. Wait, this boss is dying so slow, man. What's happening? Jesus Christ. We got 3 healers. Do we have 3 healers? No. We do. Oh my god. Well, I mean, I can go DPS, of course, but... I did tell the guy I was a healer though. Yeah, see, like this guy was only healing and this guy was doing some damage. Yeah, I mean, I should definitely go DPS then. I'm probably the easiest guy to swap. Man, what is this raid? This is gonna be some demonic shit, dude. Like, the DPS was just so bad. Like, can you even blame that on 3 healers? 1 minute, 4-second Baron kill. When the norm nowadays is under 40, sometimes 30. How was our Warlock doing 39 DPS? 191 incinerates. I do more with my Warlock and I'm level 20. Wait, what? Does he have 0 spell power? Oh, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Yeah, like it should do more damage than that, even with no spell power, I think. I remember my incinerate critting for over 300 at level 20. But I do have like 60 spell power though. But that when you level up, you get more damage, right? Oh yeah. He's not got any spell power. Oh, he's got one. He's got one item. Damn, so he... Wait, what? He's got 2 items. How is he only doing 191 damage with it? And he has oil. And we're buff. Do I just heal, bro? Like, I can heal and do damage. Like, might as well. Be like Flexi, you know? Throw in some heals. Do some dam. By me just going DPS, I'm not gonna do that much more damage. Plus, it's another mage anyway for Living Flame, so it's not that beneficial. Like, we're talking about doing like 20, 30, 40 less DPS maybe. If I just focus on damage. And then I do 0 healing. I'm not sure if that's worth it. See, they were far apart, so when I pop my thingy, it only hits 2 people. This is why normal regen is useful. Like, you have a lot more control over it. You don't have much control over the chain. Especially when this guy's a healer and I'm a healer. So we're actually like... There's not that many melee in this group. Man, I wish I had the missile barrage. Well, at least for this boss, we have a lot of DPS, so... Dude, I got griefed so hard because I went to like chain the entire melee group. And the entire melee group... Like, what is this? Why is the enhancement shaman in group 1 instead of group 2? I'm gonna tell him. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The healer shaman is here. And then the mage is here. Instead of the melee. The melee should be here. Alright, they did it. That now there's 3 melee in this group. Because it has like a... The way this works is they have to like chain between people. So if you have like 2 melees, it's not gonna go to the range. So at least now it goes on 3 melee. And that's kind of how mage healing works. Like if you're playing on that boss with regen, I've done 200 HPS on it. Like you chain it to the entire group and then you just pump. But it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like, I probably should focus more on doing damage. And just throw in some heals every now and then. Okay, that's a lot better then. Like, 4 melee is fine. Yeah, 4 melee, 1 hunter. That's a normal group. Yeah, the guy just has the groups in the wrong order. Because you want to have the feral here so he can get the shout, right? And also the shaman buff. Yeah, details is always bugged. I don't know what to say. It just doesn't work. Monix is a boomy. Nah, they're both ferals. So whenever they get clear casting, it sometimes bugs out and show them as Arcane Mage or Boomy. You think people are gonna clip past the first boss and trash farm BFD? They might, yeah. If it gives good XP, the trash. But I believe the way it's gonna work is that most of the XP comes from clearing the raid. So maybe when you kill the last boss, you get a bunch of XP. But it's not been confirmed. Right? They kind of said upon completion of the raid, you would be rewarded. It kind of indicates that it... As mage DPS, what mana should I make the change from arcane to fire? It's not about mana, it's about spell power. If you have like over 80 spell power unbuffed, you probably can go fire. If this raid clears 7 out of 7, guys, I don't know what will not. Like, this has to be our first fail raid. I hope it is. I've been hoping to join a raid that doesn't clear all the bosses. So much, like, I just want to be there, you know? Like, this has to be it. We have a raid leader that probably doesn't understand English. Because he's linking shit in a different language. Okay? He doesn't even have proper group sorted. He invited 3 healers by mistake. This is the run. Can it go worse than this? Come trade you. Come trade you. And no, I can't just go DPS. It doesn't work that way. I have to respec. I can go take Burnout and I can take Living Flame, but then there's 2 mages. It's still gonna be pretty bad. Yeah, I can't use Flame when he's using it. Like, I'm pretty sure I told this guy I'm a healer. I'm starting to like gaslight myself. What if I accidentally didn't tell him I'm a healer? I'm a great mage healer, like decent gear, got all the runes. And that's what I said. I can't show it because I had to relog. So
My new driver's license.
I don't think this is on me. I mean, I can try to adapt to the situation. That's the best thing I can do. But just my solution is pretty bad. I'm like a halfway healer. A halfway DPS.
Shipping
that's probably better than trying to heal. But it's more like if something goes wrong, I'll be able to like save people if I stay with Mass Regen. What are your thoughts on the URK missiles for Phase 2? If that wasn't the game, I would be top DPS right now. It's insane how good that is. And I won't be going You would build for you would build until you can use it and just get free damage all the time. It's one of the most impactful runes you can possibly have. Amazing for healing and amazing for DPS. I think Arcane might be the best spec next phase because of that. That rune is just incredible. People don't realize how strong that is. Like that exact rune is why like in Rat like arcane missiles does so much damage. And what's really good about it is it makes your arcane missiles free. Like right now Mage has huge mana issues and it's gonna help a lot with that. Yeah, I don't know why he would use it over Burnout, but yeah. Have to see all the runes coming though. Also at 40 you have Mage Armor. Yeah, Mage Armor is gonna be big, but let's be honest, right? Even at level 60 as a Mage, you would still go on boss fights all the time. It's nothing new. You had Mage Armor, so like this is like the first rune that they're adding that is gonna make that less of a problem. This like an arcane rune, because everything else so far doesn't help your mana management. So we're gonna see like Mage finally able to stay above 0 mana over maybe 2 minutes. When it's phase 2, it's on the 8th of February, so about 10 days. Okay, I'm gonna save my mana a bit. Saving mana is good. 3 healing BFD is good. Yeah, what just gave me 100 mana? What the hell was that? Shamanistic Rage. Yeah, but doesn't it give it every second, no? Did somebody use the engineering trinket on? It happened again. Oh, I know what it is. I'm using the Wailing Cavern spec. I'm getting magic absorption. Yeah, I'm resisting something on the fight, which is giving me mana back. Magic absorption, not useless. Yeah, no, I could like do maybe another 20 DPS. Like, I'm not sure if it's worth it. It's probably better to just stay with this spec. Maybe I can swap out regen since there's 2 more healers and take enlightenment. I don't know what you would use. But burnout would make me go faster. You don't really want that if you want to heal, so... How much of the fight am I even above 70% mana? Probably not that much. But I'm not taking Living Flame though. Not when there's another mage and I'm supposed to technically be a healer. At least that's what I signed up for, right? Is the loot still good in Spanish? Nah, it's not that good. It has less stats apparently. The Pisa Pieles, you know. I don't think I want to use a Pisa Pieles. I taught some new professions in phase 2. There's no new professions, but I mean the items added. I think it's super cool. I really like that they're doing stuff with professions instead of just putting in everything we have already. Top DPS was 87 man on Gerihast. Oof. I shouldn't say anything. I'm doing 41 over here. Yeah, we're wearing like fire damage weapon here. Doesn't help me at all. And then fire damage bracers also doesn't help at all. So my actual spell power is 92 in Arcane. Showing a regen. Oh yeah, they're killing this guy first. Fair enough. Oh my god, what is this DPS, guys? We gotta do more damage, boys. Come on. I'm gonna go man. This is what phase 1 of BFD looked like. We have teleported back in time to early December. At least the ads are not getting the heal off, so it could be worse. Oh no, we're getting the lightning totem, boys. Attack that totem. I don't see you attacking it. The mana's going down. I'm gonna wait a bit. Cool it off, you know. See, the regeneration would probably be better on this boss and then just apply it to the tank versus using mass regen and going through. That's what I'm saying. Could have evo though. Alright, we did it. We're doing 60 DPS, guys. Oh my god, dude. Insanus top DPS, yeah? I like that name, Insanus. He wrote pass all, so 2 male items dropped, pass all. That's how it is. Luckily in the next phase, if tier set drops is gonna be a token that you can hand them for an item. So, you know, they're still gonna be valuable for everybody. Versus like, oh, our warrior has the male item dropped. That's a tier base. No one needs it. The hunter is still rolling it out though. I mean, hey, maybe the shaman wants it. If I was a shaman, you should consider taking the salute for next phase. You'll be able to wear it at level 40. Because you can wear mail. I feel so useless in this raid. Like, I don't feel like I'm contributing, you know? I don't know what the fuck I can do about it. Like, told the guy I was a healer, man. What if the dude doesn't know that mages can heal? You think it's possible that he saw mage and he thought, oh, mage is DPS? There's no way, though. I mean, it's not like you can't re-heal this raid, right? It just makes the fights take a lot longer, which is not ideal, but, you know, you keep everybody healthier at least. We'll see what happens on Dust to Dust, though. That guy's gonna be annoying. I got my evocation ready, though. I tried to not use it on the last boss, because I'm gonna need it on Dust to Dust. Alright, guys, this is gonna be hard, man. We are gonna be a bit AFK. Also, do an insane interrupt on the next heal. Chain here. Huge kick.
Interrupt.
Huge kick, huge kick. Locked for 3 more seconds. I'm trying to organize kicks. Will the mage do it? Do it, please! Please! I don't want to use mana! Okay, I can do next. I should do some damage, actually. Oh, God. Yo, check this out, bro. Easy portal, yeah? Alright. We made it to the last phase. I don't think we need to evo. We're gonna pop the thing on these guys. Mana pot. Pump the heals. What is happening? Why is no one taking damage? We got 3 healers, man. Like, I'm doing 13 HPS here. Oh, here we go. Big heals, big heals. Huge heals. He's gonna die, though. I'm gonna save you! Ah! I tried, bro. I tried. Never staff, man. That was honestly insane, though. I did #1 healing in last phase. You can check that information right there. See, like, healing by encounter phase. Yeah. But okay. G-Bit is cucked as well. I'm glad, man. I would have been pretty mad if they didn't cuck G-Bit. Carry runs, though. Hey, we'll see. Maybe carry runs can sneak their way, but... Like, you can do a carry run where you invite someone, and they give you gold for getting invited. You're not getting invited to get loot per se. You're like, oh, I joined the raid. I paid you 1,000 gold to join the raid, and then I can roll on every item with you guys. It's like, there's no way they can ban people from... I don't know, maybe they can, but I think those will still happen. It won't be that popular, though. And before they ban boosting, they probably will. I would be surprised if they don't. That's the next thing people are gonna complain about. Yeah, we're gonna read the post, guys. I saw it. I'll kill this boss, and I'll read the post. I'll give you my 3 cents on it. Alright. Hopefully we don't wipe on Akuma. I still got evocation, so... I'm dumping my mana because I got Evo. Oh, we're getting a lot of ads, bro.
Breath incoming.
That's a lot of ads. Alright. I don't have any form of mana generation now. Nothing. Nothing. This is not good. I have to blow everything there. This guy is a dead man. Jeff Bob, you're not gonna survive. I mean, he's got 3 healers actually. Maybe he will. But his max HP is getting lower and lower. He's got 3 stacks. He's also dual wielding. Alright, look at him die. Ready? He's gonna get smacked. Yep. Bad healers. Hey, top healer, boys. Oh my god. Even this raid has one-shot every boss, man. Is BFD that easy? Oh, man. I'm surprised, man. I was expecting, finally, looking for more Nomrigan SDKP 9010 minimum bid 2,000 silver, trinkets 5,000 silver. Wait, that's not allowed. You can't just make like silver DKP. Like, come on, like, guys, we're gonna read this post here. I think. We didn't get any loot, sadly. It's a bad RNG right there. See, that's why Mage Healer can be good. We did the same healing as these guys while doing 66 DPS. You know.
Level 40 cap is going to be probably the most fun time in Season of Discovery. We now have 5 usable runes, 31 talent points, and most of our spells available. Lots of dungeons and raids, outdoor PvP event with epic rewards, and many, many more. My guess is that you don't want to jump with a lack of knowledge in Phase 2, and because of that, today we're covering the mage. We're going to go through best in slot items for Phase 2, professions, arcane spec and runes, fire spec and runes, and frost spec and runes. Timestamps in the description down below. Make sure to leave a like if you want to see a full series for every class, and comment down below with which class you would like to see next. In my opinion, arcane spec is going to be the best PV DPS spec in Phase 2, so let's see exactly why. Mostly because of the trio arcane power, arcane instability, and presence of mind, which is gonna help with the short fights. So the best spec I see it is the 31 talent points into arcane spec. We can't really go for a cookie cutter spec because we can't miss those good spells at the end. 2 points into arcane subtlety, decreases the magical resistance of your target. 2 points into arcane hit, 4% is more than enough. We're gonna have world buff hit, and we're gonna have also gear hit. 5 points into arcane missiles, and I'm gonna show you soon why. We have a concentration clear cast, 5 points, 6% crit with arcane explosion. We have arcane meditation, 15% mana to continue regenerating while casting, and then we have arcane mind, 10% mana, which is gonna be huge for this spec. Obviously presence of mind, arcane instability, 3% crit, and arcane power, which is gonna be awesome for the short fights to come. When it comes to runes in Phase 2, we have the same trio: Burnout, Living Flame, and Arcane Blast. Burnout, it's hard to say no to 15% crit. Living Flame, it's affected by the Arcane Blast damage increase. Arcane Blast is the best filler in game so far when it comes to quick damage. And then the new runes, which we have the Missile Barrage, gives your Arcane Blast a 40% chance and your Fireball and Frostbolt a 20% chance to reduce the channel duration of your next arcane missiles by 50% and reduce the mana cost by 100%. The missile will fire every 0.5 seconds. So this is gonna be huge because it's almost a half chance with Arcane Blast to trigger the free arcane missile. And on top of that, the foot rune, we have the spell power, which will increase our critical strike damage bonus for all the spells by 50%. I think there's nothing much to add to this spec. It's pretty much figured out. Maybe a little point there and then, but this is like a polished PV DPS spec. Hope you enjoyed. Now let's move to fire. Fire, it's pretty much 31 points into fire. We cannot afford the cookie cutter spec here as well. We have 5 points into fireball, 0.5 seconds reduced cast time. Ignite with flame throwing, increase a bit the yards of the spells. We have 1 point into incinerate for some extra crit with scorch and fire blast. 1 point into Power Blast, we're gonna need this later, I'm gonna show you why. 70% chance not to lose casting, also reduces the threat of your fire spells. Master of Elements comes clutch to Phase 2, where you refund 30% of their base mana cost back when you crit. 2 points into Improved Scorch to apply some debuffs. 6% crit with Critical Mass. I took Blast Wave for fun. I mean, Blast Wave is a spell that, in my opinion, you must have, especially since I think you learn rank 2 at level 40 as well. It's definitely gonna be fun. We have 5 points into Firepower, 10% extra fire damage, which is quite huge, and obviously your good old Combustion, which is not that great in Classic, but it's still a spell that will help you get those ignites going on. Moving on to the runes, it's pretty straightforward. We're gonna have Burnout, Living Flame, and Living Bomb, the classic trio from the previous fire spell. 15% crit with fire, it's a must. Living Flame, it gives a good consistent amount of DPS. Living Bomb also explodes at the end and helps us with Hot Streak, which is the new rune in Season of Discovery. So Hot Streak, the same one that was brought from Wrath of the Lich King. Anytime you score at 2 non-periodic critical strikes in a row using Fireball, Fire Blast, Scorch, or Living Bomb, your next Pyroblast within 10 seconds is going to be an instant cast. So this is where the damage will grow, and this is where we'll see like big ignites. I'm actually confused if Arcane or Fire is going to be better in Phase 2. On top of that, we have the Spell Power. The Spell Power, which increases the critical strike damage bonus of all spells by 50%. This will affect our the numbers of our ignites. This will affect the big crits of our Pyroblasts and our Fireballs. It's really hard to say which one is going to perform better. Arcane or Fire. My best guess is that it's Arcane because of the Arcane power, but let me know in the comments below which one you will play in phase 2. Now let's move to the next one, which is the Frost spec. For the Frost spec, I tried to go for a cookie cutter spec, but I just couldn't sacrifice the Ice Block and the Ice Barrier and everything else that makes the Frost spec so comfortable. So I went for 6% hit into Frost and Fire spells with 2 Frost warding because we're not going to use Frostbolt, 5 into Ice Shards, which gives us 100% critical strike damage bonus to our Frost spells, 2 into Improved Frost Nova, 1 into Cold Snap, and that because works with Icy Veins as well, and with Ice Block obviously. Piercing Ice, 6% damage to our Frost spells, Arctic Reach to increase the range of our Frost spells, and Frost Channeling for 15% mana reduction and also less threat from spells. Ice Block into Improved Cone of Cold. This is a personal preferences, and I went for 5 out of 5 Winter's Chill. Although it's not required to go for 5-5, you can even go 3-5 and then use 2 other points somewhere else. Maybe not even use the Improved Cone of Cold and get a Shatter combo. Or if you want an AoE farm, you can get Permafrost with Improved Blizzard. There are ways around it. And I went obviously for Ice Barrier, which is gonna make sure this is gonna keep me alive in Raze. For runes, it's pretty straightforward. We went for Burnout. 15% crit is just something we can't pass. It doesn't matter. This rune is just too good. Then we have Icy Veins. Icy Veins increases your cast spell by 20% for 20 seconds. But now we have Cold Snap and you can use it twice in a fight. It's going to be quite great. For the hand rune, I didn't know exactly what to go for, so I chose a Living Bomb simply to have more damage on the target. And also it can explode and do more damage. And then we have Frost Fire Bolt, which is going to probably be a spell that scales at level 40. Fireball which will be at level 36 spell. Frostbolt will be a level 38 spell, but this one will scale perfectly as a level 40 spell. On top of that, this one is going to benefit from 100% critical strike bonus, but also is going to benefit from the extra 50% critical damage bonus from the Spell Power rune, which is going to come on the boot slot. I think this potentially will have like a lot of crit from Winter's Chill, from the Burnout rune, and especially the crit strike damage bonus, which if you get a lucky situation where you crit a couple of times in a row, can do a lot of damage. Let me know how you feel about the Frost spec in the comments down below, because I'm actually curious about what you guys think about this. Let's go over the best in slot for phase 2. The helmet slot is going to be Neurolinked Arcanofilament Monocle, made with tailoring, not engineering, not to be confused here. 10 stamina, 11 intellect, 22 spell power, and 4 MP5. The cool thing about this helmet is the use effect, where it gives you mana cost reduction for all spells by 50% and also increases your damage and healing done by 50 for 12 seconds. On a 10-minute cooldown, it's going to be great for bursting out in the world, even in PvP or in raids. You must have tailoring for every caster. It's kind of a must. Necklace is going to be piston pendant. Really great itemization here. You have stamina, intellect, spirit, and 9 spell power. Synthetic mantle, 99 armor, 8 stamina, 9 intellect. I think this is going to be the best in slot for all casters, so be ready to have some competition there. Bloodrot cloak, 7 stamina, 6 intellect, 11 spell power. Really great cloak for level 40. And then we move into the Irradiated Robe, which is one of the 2 sets implemented into phase 2 in No More. They have some weird stats with minus strength and 10 stamina, minus strength not to be used by druids, minus 10 stamina not to be used in PvP or farming overall. But the other stats, such as like the damage and healing and the crit stats and the bonus effects, are really great, so a lot of people will choose this to be their best in slot caster set. There is another option. There is a Hydroconductive set, which has more stamina, more armor, more intellect, but less crit and hit. Both of them are great. See what you can get on. If you're looking specifically for parsing, Irradiated is going to be best in slot. For Bracer, there are the Dryad Wrist Bindings from Warsong Gulch, but if you don't have Exalted Warsong Gulch, don't try too much. There is something called Lew's Oil Stained Bindings, which has 5 stamina, 4 intellect, and 9 spell power. But also the PvP bracers give really good stats as well. So options you have, don't focus too much on getting the bindings. For weapons, we have the Glimmering Gizmo Blade one-hander with 19 spell power, and also the Mage Orb from the Mage quest. You can change the offhand with the Necro book, but this seems to be like this. If there's another staff with 20 spell power, but there's also the Rod of the Sleepwalker from BFD. I think, in my opinion, this is best because you can use the restore mana effect at least once every now and then, so pretty cool. Gloves, Dreamwave gloves so far. It seems like this will be best with 18 spell power. The belt is the Volatile Concoction belt, 1% heat and 12 spell power. We have the Irradiated pants. We have the Irradiated boots, which give a hit and 11 spell power, but don't rush too fast to get the set, as you will still have like the tailoring boots. If you have tailoring the old ones from level 25, they're still good at level 40. They have hit, spell power, and good stats. Moving on to rings, the hypercharged gear of Conflagration. You can only have one equipped, so this is what the one with damage and healing. And then from the PvP event in Strangletorn Veil, 16 arcane damage spell, or 16 fire, or 16 whatever spec you play, frost, you can choose that. In case you don't want a PvP, there's always the Warson Gulch Reputation Ring, which is quite easy to acquire. It has 9 spell power, 5 stamina, and MP5, really great. For trinkets, the Invoker's Void Pearl is still best. For phase 2, 11 spell power, but there's a new trinket in town, and that trinket is called Miniaturized Combustion Chamber, which has 6 intellect, 12 spell power. On top of that, it does have a random channel between 1 and 150 and 1 and 150 mana and health. Regenerates for 1 second every 10 seconds. It's usually gonna be an average of 750 overall mana back and heal back. For the wand, you have the Mechanostrider Gear Shifter, which increases damage and healing done by magical spells and effects by 9. It's gonna be best, but you can use your class one. You can choose one of Arcane, Fire, or Frost, based on which spec you play. Really good looking so far with the gear. There are a couple of changes, of course. You can change the stuff, but pretty much this is how it's gonna look. When it comes to professions, tailoring is gonna be just best in slot because of the new helmet, which gives awesome stats, but also a great on-use effect. Second profession will have one of the 3 choices. It's gonna be enchanting, alchemy, or engineering. I would say if you PvP a lot, I would say choose engineering. The gadgets and the nades just help you a lot. But if you plan to PvE between alchemy and enchanting, I would choose enchanting because it gives some sigils which give you a buff for 30 minutes that is going to give you extra 20 spell power. 20 spell power at level 40 is quite a lot. There's another option to get the mildly irradiated rejuvenation potion from alchemy, which I think is going to be Soulbond, but I'm not entirely sure yet. This one is going to give you spell power by 35 for 15 seconds. So it does make a lot of sense for PvE to get tailoring plus enchanting, and for PvP to get tailoring plus engineering. Level 40 will bless mages with a good amount of spells to use, starting with Scorch, which gets rank 4 at level 40. The portals for the major cities, at least 2 of them for each factions, but also the ability to teleport to Darnassus and Thunderbluff. If at phase 1 we didn't have a Cone of Cold, now we're getting not 1 but 2 ranks of Cone of Cold. It goes the same if at level 25 we didn't have a Mana Gem, now we're getting not 1 but 2 ranks of Mana Gem, one which restores 650 mana and one which restores 425. Mage Armor is gonna come in clutch for that extra mana regen, and it's gonna help you both with Arcane spec. And speaking of Arcane spec, Arcane Missiles rank 5 is going to be available at level 40. Another reason to think that Arcane is going to perform quite good in phase 2. Other than that, the level 35 water is going to be available at level 40, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to craft a lot of them, only 2 per craft, which is going to give you level 35 water. But I hope Blizzard has something special prepared for this, for our ability to share with the other people in the game our beautiful water. If you're looking to get into Season of Discovery or return to Wrath of the Lich King, level some new alts and so on, I highly recommend getting Reset XP addon. The add-on is free with all its features, and the guides are available up to level 20, making your leveling fast but also efficient, since now it incorporates rune guides. Is this add-on a necessity? Not necessarily. But if efficiency is your goal, Reset XP delivers. It has the potential to accelerate your leveling speed by 30 to 100%, ultimately saving you valuable playtime that could be better spent elsewhere. Personally, I also use it to quest for gold at max level in each phase, because it gives me a good route to follow for maximum gold per hour. And if by any chance in the future you think about making an upgrade to a full version, use my code FROSADAMUS for 5% off. Links in the description down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, smash like. If you didn't, well, smash like anyway, because we're 15 minutes into the video and you're still here. If you're still here, that means you like my content. And if you want to see more of my content, check out my second channel, FROSADAMUS TV. There should be a link on the screen right now, or just look through the description of the video. You will find it easily there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Until our next encounter, stay frosty.
Oof, sucks to suck there. And of course I'm top DPS. I already have this.
There's a 3-set there on my mage now. Let's fucking go. Come on, Pearl. Let's get the Pearl on this guy. Please, please, please. I want all the spell power so I can like hella AoE grind. Like, we've gotten decent upgrades here so far. Fuck, I rolled 23. God damn it. Well, I mean, got some upgrades here. I'll take